Welcome to your deep dive. You guys send in some really fascinating stuff on evolution.
Yeah.
And its impact on everything.
Yeah.
From religion to ethics, you name it.
Pretty much.
And we're really diving into the work of philosopher Daniel Dennett to see how all these ideas connect.
He's great.
Especially his ideas about how thought itself has evolved.
Oh, yeah.
So get ready. We're going to be going from wildebeest to basketball.
Really?
To a mysterious French robot dog.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun.
Dennett, he does not shy away from a good debate, does he?
No, he really doesn't.
Really likes to tackle those controversial topics head on.
Oh, yeah.
Especially where science, religion, and politics all kind of intersect.
You're telling me his New York Times op-ed
Oh, yeah.
urging atheists and agnostics to be more open about their beliefs, that really stirred the pot,
Big time.
didn't it? He argued it would help create a more honest and balanced dialogue,
Right.
especially in the political arena.
Definitely did.
Yeah.
Some people even accused him of wanting to put religious people in cages.
Wow.
Which, of course, he vehemently denied, called it a total misrepresentation of his position.
Of course.
It just goes to show how sensitive these conversations can be.
Yeah, it's like everybody has their own filter.
It is.
And sometimes it's hard to hear anything
Totally.
that challenges what they already believe.
Absolutely.
But in the middle of all the controversy,
Yeah.
Dennett raised a really interesting point about the role of religion
Uh-huh.
in American politics.
Okay.
He argued that while religion might not directly dictate policy, it acts as a sort of distorting lens
Hmm.
in American political life.
Interesting.
No.
Dennett's point is that the USA is officially a secular state,
Right.
but we see so much religious symbolism
We do.
and rhetoric intertwined with politics.
Yeah.
So it's easy to see how that could influence things.
It is. Makes you think about that mailer that Dennett got
Not melee.
from the presidential prayer team.
Oh, gosh.
It had a picture of George W. Bush
Okay.
with ghostly images of past presidents,
Oh, wow.
like Lincoln and Washington,
Okay.
all looking super devout.
That kind of imagery really highlights how intertwined religion is with ideas of national identity and patriotism.
For sure.
For some people, Dennett isn't saying that's a bad thing in itself,
Yeah.
just that we need to be aware of that influence
Aware.
and make sure that secular principles are guiding political decisions.
Right. So it's not about dismissing religion, but understanding it.
Gotcha.
Kind of like how Dennett says we should study religion scientifically,
Right.
just like any other influential phenomenon. To understand its origins, evolution, and impact, it's about having more informed conversations.
Right, and those conversations might lead us to challenge some assumptions.
Totally.
Even our own. Dennett argues that there are actually different categories of believers.
Uh-huh.
And genuine studied conversion, where someone really delves into a religion before choosing to follow it.
Right.
It's actually surprisingly rare.
He even compares it to telling other people's kids
Oh, no.
that Santa isn't real.
Oh, God.
It's like there's this unspoken rule that you just don't go there. It's a funny analogy.
Yeah,
But it makes you think about how sensitive and complex religious belief is.
definitely.
For a lot of people. It's often so deeply rooted in their upbringing and cultural identity.
For sure. It makes you think about Richard Dawkins' infamous statement,
What's that?
where he called people who don't believe in evolution ignorant, insane, or stupid.
Wow. Okay.
Dennett, as a big supporter of evolution, actually had a really nuanced response to that.
I'd be interested to hear that.
So he believes in evolution.
Okay.
As much as he believes the Earth is round,
Okay.
it's a scientific fact,
Right.
backed by tons of evidence.
For sure.
But Dennett makes a distinction
Uh-huh.
between simply lacking knowledge
Right.
and being inherently unintelligent.
Oh.
Not everyone has access to the same information.
Or education.
He's got a point.
He does. And he's even more nuanced when it comes to God.
Oh, really?
For Dennett, the concept of God is so varied
Okay.
and open to interpretation that it's not as clear-cut
Okay.
as evolution.
Okay.
Dennett even says believing in a human-shaped thunderbolt-throwing God
Okay.
is about as rational as believing in Superman
Oh, wow.
or the Easter Bunny.
Okay.
But he's careful to say that other conceptions of God,
Yeah.
like a more abstract higher power or a cosmic designer, aren't necessarily irrational or insane,
I see.
even if he personally disagrees with them.
Yeah.
It's all about using precise language
Right.
and recognizing the vast spectrum of beliefs out there. Now, what about this whole intelligent design debate? How does Dennett approach that one?
He doesn't reject intelligent design because he thinks it's impossible.
No.
He just argues that all the evidence points to natural selection as a perfectly good explanation
Okay.
for the complexity we see in nature. That's interesting. You know, a lot of people have a hard time wrapping their heads around the idea that nature's amazing diversity
Yeah.
and intricate systems could have just arisen randomly.
It does seem that way sometimes.
It almost seems too amazing to be true.
So to tackle this, Dennett introduces these two awesome concepts: cranes and skyhooks.
Ooh, cranes and skyhooks.
Cranes are those natural processes that speed up or enhance natural selection, like
What?
genetic engineering,
Okay.
which humans created to manipulate genes and speed up evolutionary changes.
Right.
So,
So cranes are the amazing things that nature can do on its own to create innovation and complexity.
yeah.
What about skyhooks?
Skyhooks are those miraculous interventions or supernatural explanations that break the laws of nature.
Gotcha.
So Dennett isn't saying skyhooks are impossible,
Okay.
but he doesn't see any compelling evidence for them.
Okay.
He sees the search for skyhooks as avoiding the hard work of understanding the intricate mechanisms
Right.
of natural selection.
It's a powerful analogy
It is.
that helps us understand the sheer scale and complexity of evolution. What about the ethical implications?
Yeah.
A lot of people think that evolution means a survival of the fittest morality,
Yeah, totally.
where only the strong survive.
That's a common misconception that Dennett rejects.
Okay.
He's very clear that evolution doesn't have a moral purpose
Right.
or a set of ethical guidelines. It simply describes the process of how life on Earth has changed and adapted over time.
So it's not about morality at all.
Well, it gets a little more nuanced.
Okay.
So Dennett argues that while evolution can help us understand the conditions where cooperation thrives or fails, it doesn't tell us what our ethics should be.
That's a big distinction. Can you give us an example of how that plays out?
Imagine trees in a forest,
Okay.
competing for sunlight. Each tree acts selfishly,
Okay.
growing as tall as possible and spreading its branches to get the most light.
Right.
From an evolutionary perspective, there's no reason for them to cooperate and share the sunlight equally.
It's like a botanical free-for-all.
Exactly. And Dennett compares that to professional sports where athletes are often driven by individual ambition
Okay.
and big contracts.
So where does cooperation come in?
So Dennett contrasts those situations with scenarios where cooperation is essential for survival,
Okay.
like a basketball team facing a tough opponent,
Right.
or a nation uniting against a common enemy. In those cases, self-interest takes a back seat to the collective good.
So understanding the evolutionary dynamics of cooperation and competition can provide valuable insights
Absolutely.
into human behavior and social structures,
Yeah.
but it doesn't dictate our moral choices.
Exactly. Dennett believes humans have this unique ability to transcend our biological programming
Yeah.
and make ethical decisions
Okay.
based on reason, empathy, and a sense of justice. And this brings us to one of Dennett's most intriguing and maybe controversial ideas,
Okay.
the concept of abstract truths.
Oh, it sounds like we're getting into the deep end. What are abstract truths? Dennett calls his perspective ultra-mild Platonism.
Okay.
He suggests that abstract truths, like the principles of arithmetic, exist independently of the material world.
Wow.
They're not just human inventions or cultural constructs, but fundamental principles that would hold true even on other planets.
So it's like math is universal, no
Exactly.
matter where you are in the universe.
Pretty much.
Does he extend this to ethical truths too?
He does. He suggests that if ethical truths exist, they'd also be a priori and abstract,
Okay.
like the rules of chess. He uses the example of arithmetic to show how evolution could actually favor and track these a priori truths. Over time, natural selection would favor organisms
Yeah.
that are better at understanding quantities and spatial relationships, because those skills would help them survive and reproduce.
So if evolution can lead to the emergence of mathematical understanding,
Right.
could it also lead to the development of universal ethical principles?
That's the big question Dennett leaves us with. He asks whether the same ethical principles would evolve on other planets.
Wow.
If intelligent life arose there. It forces us to think beyond our earthly perspective
Yeah.
and consider the very nature of morality
Right.
and its potential universality.
Wow. That really is a question to ponder. This is all so mind-blowing. I feel like I need a break to process it all.
I know what you mean. It's a lot to take in, but that's what makes Dennett's work so compelling. It challenges our assumptions and pushes us to think about things in new ways.
For sure.
It really is a fascinating question to consider. Are morals just a product of our specific evolutionary journey here on Earth, or do they reflect some kind of deeper, maybe even cosmic principles?
It's making my brain hurt in the best way possible. It's like, then it's challenging us to examine the very foundation of our moral compass.
For sure.
Are we bound by our evolutionary past?
Right.
Or can we reach for a more universal set of ethical values?
Dennett's not giving us easy answers. He's giving us, like, a framework for thinking about these complicated ideas.
Framework, okay.
He wants us to grapple with that tension between our biological heritage and our ability to reason and make moral choices.
So it's not about ignoring our evolutionary past, but acknowledging it and then moving forward.
Dennett's ideas are actually really empowering in that way. He isn't saying morality is arbitrary or subjective, but rather that we need to be aware of the forces that have shaped our moral instincts. And then use reason and empathy to create a more just and compassionate world.
It's like we're standing on the shoulders of giants, our evolutionary ancestors, but we get to choose which direction we face and what kind of future we want to build.
That's a beautiful way to put it. Dennett's work reminds us that we're part of this incredible evolutionary story, but we're also writing our own ethical narrative. We have a responsibility to use our knowledge and understanding to make good choices for ourselves and future generations.
I can't believe how much ground we've covered already.
Oh, I know, right?
From the role of religion in politics to the evolution of cooperation and even the issue of abstract truths. I feel like I need a walk. Just to let it all sink in.
I'm with you. Dennett's ideas are as challenging as they are inspiring. They encourage us to question our assumptions, explore new perspectives, and really engage in these meaningful conversations about the big questions that shape our lives and our world.
Speaking of big questions, what about that mysterious French robot dog?
Oh, yeah.
That Dennett mentioned. He seemed genuinely curious.
He did.
About its origins.
It's a really interesting little detail that speaks to his insatiable curiosity and love of puzzles. Apparently, he found this vintage robot dog.
Oh, wow.
In an antique shop in Paris and named it Tati, after the French filmmaker Jacques Tati.
He even posted a picture of it on his website.
Did he really?
And asked anyone with information to contact him. It's like a real-life philosophical mystery.
That's amazing. It's a good reminder that even the brightest minds can be captivated by these seemingly simple curiosities. There's always something new to learn and explore.
It's true.
No matter how much we think we know.
Maybe one of our listeners has the missing piece of the puzzle.
Oh, wouldn't that be great?
Perhaps they've seen a similar robot dog somewhere. Or know something about its maker. Wouldn't it be amazing to help Dennett solve this mystery?
It would. It shows how knowledge is often a collaborative effort. Even a seemingly insignificant detail can spark a chain of connections and insights.
So to our listeners, if you happen to know anything
at all
about a French robot dog from the 1950s, please reach out to us.
Please.
Or to Daniel Dennett directly. You could hold the key.
You could.
To unlocking a fascinating piece of history.
Absolutely.
In the meantime, let's continue to think about the big questions that Dennett has raised.
For sure.
How do our evolutionary origins shape our moral instincts?
Exactly.
Can we move beyond our biological programming? And strive for a more universal set of ethical values?
These are questions that deserve careful thought.
They do.
An ongoing conversation. The evolution of thought is a never-ending journey, and we're all on it together.
Beautifully said. Let's appreciate the remarkable ability of our minds to grapple with these profound questions and continue to evolve our understanding of ourselves and the world around us. There you have it, your deep dive into Daniel Dennett and his ideas about evolution and thought. What really struck you? Do you think our ethics are universal or just a product of our own little evolutionary path here on Earth? We'd love to hear your thoughts. And hey, if you come across any info about that mysterious French robot dog from the 1950s, let us know. You might just help Dennett solve that puzzle.